Have you ever wondered how some people seem to manipulate their way through life effortlessly? What if there's something deeper at play, hidden beneath the surface? Join us as we dive into the enigmatic ideas of Sigmund Freud and his theory of the unconscious mind. We'll explore how Freud's concepts of repression, hidden desires, and dream symbols might shed light on manipulative behavior. This episode is a collaboration of experts to provide you with a deeper understanding, and the voice you're hearing represents a unified perspective from our team.
Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to get their way no matter what?
Like they can kind of bend the rules and still come out on top?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how do they do that?
Well, that's what we're going to dive into today. Today's deep dive is going to be all about the ideas of Sigmund Freud.
Ooh, Freud, interesting.
Yeah, the father of psychoanalysis.
Okay.
We're going to see if what he had to say about the unconscious mind can help us understand
those master manipulators.
exactly how these manipulative behaviors work.
I love it.
So we're going to be talking about repression,
Okay.
hidden messages and dreams, all that good stuff.
Ooh, unlocking the secrets of the mind.
Yes, exactly.
Let's get into it.
So, Freud's work,
Yeah.
while it is controversial and has been for a while, it does give us like a framework for understanding the motivations behind human behavior.
I could see that.
Especially like actions that seem driven by forces we're uneven aware of.
Right. Yeah, like the stuff we don't even realize is affecting us. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
So one of his most famous ideas, and a really good place for us to start, is the iceberg metaphor.
Ooh, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said that our minds are like icebergs.
Okay.
With the conscious mind, the part we can see is only the tip above the water.
Gotcha.
But underneath the surface lurking below is this vast unconscious part containing desires, memories, thoughts, all this stuff that we're not consciously aware of, but that still influence our actions.
Wow. So it's like this hidden world that's driving so much of our behavior.
Exactly. And it's way bigger than we realize.
That's kind of freaky when you think about it.
It is.
Yeah.
And then Freud also proposed that the personality is divided into 3 parts.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about this, too.
Yeah.
The id, the ego, and the superego.
Yes, exactly. So let's break those down a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
So the id is kind of like the most basic instincts and desires.
Okay.
Seeking instant gratification. Like that impulsive child within us that's like, I want it, and I want it now.
I want candy.
Yes, exactly.
Give me the candy.
Yeah.
Then we have the ego, which is a little more level-headed.
Okay, the mediator.
Yes, exactly. It tries to find realistic ways to satisfy those urges, but while considering consequences and social norms.
So it's like the voice of reason.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it.
And then last but not least, we have the superego.
Okay, and that's like our moral compass, right?
Yes, exactly. It's internalized from our upbringing and society's rules.
Okay.
It's telling us what's right and wrong.
Okay, so it's like the angel on our shoulder.
Yes, exactly. The voice of our conscience reminding us of our values.
Okay, I think I'm getting this.
Good.
Yeah.
So, let's say you're in a situation and a coworker takes credit for your idea.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
Fun.
Not fun at all. So your id might be screaming for revenge.
Oh, yeah.
Like confront them.
I'm going to get you back.
Exactly. But then your ego steps in and says, a public outburst could hurt your career. Don't want to get fired.
Don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
And then the superego might whisper that, honesty and integrity are more important.
Yeah. Okay. So there's like this whole internal battle going on.
Yes. There's a constant internal struggle, and the unconscious is a huge part of how it all plays out.
Wow. So much happening under the surface.
Yeah.
Back.
And this brings us to another key concept, repression.
Okay. This is where we dive even deeper.
Yes, exactly. Into those hidden depths of the mind.
I'm ready.
All right. So Freud argued that we often push those unpleasant or unacceptable thoughts and memories and desires deep down into the unconscious to protect ourselves from pain.
Right. Like it's too much to deal with, so we just bury it.
Exactly. It's like trying to cram a giant suitcase into a tiny closet.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, you can cram it in there, but it doesn't just disappear.
It's still there taking up space.
Exactly. It takes up space, and it can even like bulge out in weird ways.
So those emotions we try to hide, they don't really go away.
They don't vanish. They just exert their influence from below the surface.
And that's where the manipulation comes in.
That's where we start to see the connection.
Okay, so are you saying that manipulative behaviors are like a way for those repressed feelings to sneak out?
That's exactly what Freud proposed.
Wow.
He believed that unfulfilled desires,
Yeah.
the ones often buried deep down,
Yeah.
they seek an outlet, a way to be expressed.
Okay.
And sometimes that expression takes the form of manipulation. A
Interesting.
subtle attempt to influence others to get what we want.
So we're not even aware that we're doing it.
We're not directly acknowledging those underlying motivations.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
So one of our sources talked about this fascinating research by Dr. Daniel Wegner
Okay.
called the white bear experiment.
Okay, a white bear. What is this?
So he told participants to do everything they could to not think about a white bear.
Okay, and I bet that's all they could think about.
They couldn't help but think about it.
Yeah.
The more they tried to suppress the thought, the more it popped into their minds.
Makes sense.
And he called this the ironic process theory.
Okay.
The idea that suppressing a thought often makes it even more persistent.
It's like telling yourself, don't think about a pink elephant.
Exactly.
You can't help it.
You can't help it.
Yeah.
So if we apply this to manipulative behavior,
Okay.
are you suggesting that trying to bury those undesirable desires
Yeah.
might actually make them more likely to emerge?
In these manipulative ways?
Yes, in these subtle manipulative ways.
So like the more we try to hide them,
Yeah.
the more they come out in other ways.
It's almost as if those repressed desires, like the white bear,
Yeah.
are constantly seeking a way out.
Wow.
And manipulation can become the way to express them indirectly.
That is so interesting.
It is.
It's like we're not really in control.
Yeah, it highlights the fact that we're not always fully in control of our own minds,
Right.
our actions.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
It is a little bit.
But also fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Yeah, okay, so we've got this hidden puppeteer
Yes.
pulling the strings.
Pulling the strings.
And now we're going to talk about dreams.
Yes, Freud believed the unconscious also revealed itself in the world of dreams.
Okay, dream time.
Yes, he called dreams the royal road to the unconscious.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me how Freud connected dreams to manipulation.
So he believed that our dreams are like symbolic messages from our unconscious,
Gotcha.
offering clues about hidden desires,
Okay.
anxieties, and conflicts that we might not be facing in our waking lives.
So it's not like our dreams are literally happening?
No, not literal, more
They're not-
symbolic.
But they're still telling us something important.
Exactly. And Freud suggested that analyzing our dreams could provide insights into the hidden motivations.
That might lead to manipulation.
Exactly.
Okay, so can you give me an example?
So let's say someone consistently dreams about being chased or deceived.
Okay.
These recurring themes could reflect anxieties about control and power. Okay.
That might manifest as manipulative tendencies in their waking life?
So their dreams are like trying to tell them something.
Yes, trying to reveal those underlying motivations.
It makes you wonder what our own dreams are saying.
It really does.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start paying more attention to my dreams.
Me too.
Okay, so Freud's dream analysis
Yes.
might seem a little out there to some people.
You can.
But it's interesting how his ideas about the unconscious are still relevant in modern psychology.
Well, absolutely, especially in therapy.
Right. A lot of therapy approaches are based on Freud's work.
Yes, like psychodynamic therapy.
Exactly.
Therapists who use this approach focus on uncovering those hidden emotions and past experiences that might be shaping a person's behavior.
Including manipulation.
Exactly. Those less than healthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
One of our sources talked about Anna O. This famous case study of a patient treated by Freud's colleague, Joseph Breuer. So she had all these symptoms that at the time were called hysterical symptoms. And through a process of talking cure.
Talking cure?
Yeah. She started to uncover repressed memories and traumas.
Wow. So just by talking about it.
Yes. And as those unconscious experiences came to light, her symptoms started to get better.
That's amazing.
It is. It's like talking about those buried experiences allowed her to process them and understand them, leading to healing
Wow.
and a release from those unhealthy patterns.
So powerful.
It is, and it suggests that understanding the unconscious is really key to addressing those deep-seated issues.
Including manipulative behavior.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so Freud's theories have been debated.
Oh, yeah.
Criticized.
Absolutely.
But some of his core concepts
yes,
are finding support from modern neuroscience.
absolutely. We have Nobel Prize-winning neuroscientists
Wow.
like Eric Kandel suggesting that our understanding of the brain is providing biological evidence for some of Freud's ideas.
Wow. So even though we might not be using a couch for dream analysis these days, right?
Exploring the unconscious mind is still relevant.
It's still incredibly relevant,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to understanding things like manipulation.
This has been so interesting.
It has.
I can't wait to hear more.
Me too.
But first, we're going to take a quick break.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're back, and we've been talking about all this stuff with Freud.
Yeah, lots of heady stuff.
It really makes you think.
Yeah.
But, we've talked about how some of his ideas are finding support in modern psychology and neuroscience.
Absolutely.
But there's still a lot of debate about Freud's work, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Some people think he's outdated, maybe even a bit sexist.
Yeah, you're right. Freud's theories have been critiqued from a lot of different angles.
Okay.
And some of his ideas haven't aged well.
Right.
But what's interesting is that so many of his core concepts, particularly about the unconscious, still resonate today with clinicians and researchers.
So it's not about taking everything he said as like the absolute truth.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
It's more about using his work as a starting point.
A springboard.
Yeah, a springboard for more exploration.
Right.
And remember, science is always evolving.
That's true.
We're constantly refining what we know about the brain and how people behave.
Okay, so one of the articles we read talked about how modern clinical psychology still uses ideas like repression and unresolved trauma.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So repression, that idea that we push painful memories or emotions out of our conscious awareness.
Yeah.
That's still a key concept in understanding conditions like anxiety, depression, and even some personality disorders.
It's like those buried experiences can still shape us.
They really can, even if we're not aware of their influence.
Right.
And unresolved trauma, especially from childhood, is often seen as a factor in a lot of mental health issues.
So even if we don't agree with everything Freud said, these specific concepts are still really important.
Very important for understanding how our past affects us today.
And how it might connect to manipulative behaviors.
Exactly. For instance, someone who has experienced a lot of trauma might develop manipulative tendencies to protect themselves.
Okay. To feel safe.
Yeah, or to gain control in their relationships.
So they're using manipulation like a defense mechanism.
Yeah, a way to cope with their fears and insecurities.
It's not an excuse, but it helps to understand why.
It's not about excusing the behavior.
Right.
It's about understanding what's behind it.
And that brings in the importance of empathy.
Absolutely.
When we're dealing with manipulative behavior.
I couldn't agree more.
Instead of just labeling someone as a manipulator.
Which can feel very judgmental. Yeah. We can try to understand what's motivating them.
See them as a person.
Exactly. Recognize that it often comes from pain or fear or unmet needs.
Okay, so how do we take this knowledge
and
actually use it?
That's the million-dollar question. We can't go around psychoanalyzing everyone.
That would be a little weird.
A little bit.
So how do we put this into practice?
So one way is to be more self-aware.
Okay.
Pay attention to your own reactions.
Okay.
Are there situations where you tend to react in ways you later regret?
Oh, all the time.
Right.
Like I just blurt something out and like, why did I say that?
Exactly. Those are the moments to pay attention to. Ask yourself what might be going on underneath.
Okay.
What emotions or needs might be driving that reaction?
So it's like taking a pause.
Yes.
And looking inward.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to talk to a therapist.
Right.
If you're struggling, they can help you explore those deeper issues.
And what about when we feel like someone else is being manipulative?
Yeah.
How can we use this knowledge to deal with that?
Well, remember that manipulative behavior often comes from insecurity or unmet needs.
Right. We talked about that.
Yeah. So instead of just labeling them, we can try to understand them.
Okay. But that doesn't mean we have to put up with it.
No, definitely not. It's about responding with compassion, but also setting boundaries.
Okay. So how do we do that?
Communication is key.
Okay.
Express your feelings and needs clearly, but without blaming them.
So instead of saying you're being manipulative,
right,
we might say, I feel uncomfortable when you...
Exactly. Focus on the behavior and how it affects you.
Okay.
And be ready to set firm boundaries.
So if they keep pressuring us, we have the right to say no.
Absolutely.
And walk away if we need to.
You have to protect yourself.
Right.
And sometimes setting boundaries is the kindest thing you can do.
Really?
It might even help them to get help or look at their own behavior.
Wow. Okay, that's a new way to think about it.
It is.
I'm really learning a lot from this deep dive.
Me too.
It's given me a whole new perspective.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, and it's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about understanding ourselves better.
And making conscious choices.
Exactly.
It's a journey.
It is, and we're all in it together.
We are.
This deep dive into the unconscious has been incredible.
It really has.
I feel like I'm seeing the world in a whole new way.
That's great.
But I have to admit, it's also a little overwhelming.
Oh, how so?
Well, it's so much of what we do is driven by this unconscious stuff.
Uh-huh.
It makes you wonder how much control we really have over our own lives.
Yeah.
You know?
I hear that that's a really common feeling when you're first learning about all this.
Right.
But remember, awareness is the first step towards change.
Okay, so just by understanding these influences,
Yeah.
we can start to make more conscious choices.
Exactly. It's like, imagine you're driving a car, but you've never learned how the engine works.
Okay.
You can still drive it.
Uh-huh.
But you might not be driving it as well as you could.
And what if something breaks down?
Right, exactly. You wouldn't know how to fix it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But once you understand how the engine works,
Okay.
you can troubleshoot problems,
Okay.
maintain it better, maybe even improve its performance.
So Freud is like our mechanic for the mind.
I like that analogy. By understanding these unconscious processes, we gain more control over our lives.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Good.
But what do we do next?
Yeah, how do we put this knowledge into practice?
Right.
Well, one of the best tools you have is self-reflection.
Okay.
Take some time to think about your own behavior patterns.
Okay.
Are there certain situations that make you react in ways you later regret?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Like what kind of situations?
Like when I get triggered and I just blurt something out, and then I'm like, oh, why did I say that?
Those are the moments to really pay attention to.
Okay.
Ask yourself what might have been going on beneath the surface.
Okay.
What emotions or unmet needs might have been driving that reaction.
So it's like slowing down.
Yeah.
And really thinking about why I'm reacting that way.
Exactly.
Okay. I could try that.
And don't hesitate to talk to a therapist if you need help.
Right.
They can help you understand those deeper issues. Yeah.
We encourage you to check out some of Freud's work.
Definitely.
His book, The Interpretation of Dreams, is a classic.
Yes.
But even just reading some articles or summaries of his theories can be really eye-opening.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to explore some of the modern critiques of his work, too.
Right. Psychology is always evolving.
Exactly.
So keep that critical thinking going.
Yes.
But most importantly, pay attention to your own unconscious mind.
You might be surprised by what you find.
This has been such a fascinating journey into the world of the unconscious mind.
It really has.
Thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the mysteries of the unconscious mind. If today's episode sparked your curiosity, don't stop here. Dive into Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams, or explore modern psychology articles to see how his theories have evolved. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and who knows, you might just uncover insights that change how you see yourself and others. Don't forget to subscribe to Cognitive Curves and share your thoughts on today's journey in the comments.